Okay, can you tell us how it all started?
Well, I think it started when my mother died and left 4 little ones, and I was the oldest at the time. And my father just wasn't able to cope. And so he farmed us all out separately to anybody that would take us, more or less. And it finally wound up that the other 3 siblings went on the city, and I was still in foster homes. And I hadn't been treated the way I thought I should be treated, even as a little girl. And I was very upset in the last one I was in, to the point that I had considered suicide. And I told my father. And he was upset, of course, so he tried to find out some place that he could put me where I would be loved and safe, and he was at his wit's end. So some friend had told him about being at the Shakers, and she thought that that kind of an environment would be perhaps the best place for me. So the nearest we could find was Canterbury, New Hampshire. And he called and got Sister Josephine, and she said that they had stopped taking little girls. Well, he was so desperate, I guess he kept begging her to change their mind. And she said, well, there is one consideration. She said, Sister Marguerite, at Christmas time, we usually have them write down about 3 gifts they might like for Christmas, so we can have a choice and have a present under the tree for each one of them. And she said all Sister Marguerite wrote was that she wanted another little girl. The first thing, and the second thing, another little girl. And the third thing, another little girl. And when they brought me up, I can remember sitting in the parlor over there at the office, and they had called Marguerite, and I saw her come running from the dwelling house. And it was wintertime, December 29th, so she had her heavy wool cape on, was holding her bonnet, and I could see the cape flying in the wind. That's how fast she was running down. And I thought to myself, how disappointed she's going to be when she gets here and sees me. She's not going to like me. And when she walked in the door and came toward me, I even kind of got back at the sofa because I was kind of cringing, thinking she wouldn't like me. And when she got into the door, she fell right down on her knees and put her arms out to me and said, my darling, I thought you would never arrive. It was very emotional for both of us. I can't tell the story without getting emotional. I'm sorry, I don't mean to. But she was the first person that hugged me since my mother died. She and I slept in the same bedroom, and it was also our sitting room. It was a big room, number 24 up in the dwelling house. And it was on the corner of the building, and out the window by my bed I could look down to the ponds and off to the hills, and the windows in front looked right into the big twin pine trees that were there at the time. And I could see all kinds of birds, and it was just a perfect room for me because I always was interested in investigating something new, and I loved being with her.
What was a day in the life like for you?
Well, we'd get up about 6:30, get cleaned up, washed up for the day, and go down and sit in the little sitting room waiting for the breakfast bell at 7. And when the bell rang, we went down to breakfast. At each end of the table for breakfast, there was a bowl, as we call it, our sauce dish. And it'd be either rhubarb sauce, or strawberries, or pears, or peaches. We had cereal, we had bacon, we had ham, we had sausages, we had eggs, always homemade bread, toast, muffins, donuts. You lived like a millionaire, as far as I was concerned, as a little child, for what I had received. is saying today is born free, but running free, being able to run from house to house and be outdoors and nature and the love that I got from the sisters. Every one of the sisters seemed to have a specialty. I went to Sister Edith. She was my Sunday school teacher. Sister Eunice taught me to cook. Sister Alice taught me to garden. And she knew the names of all the plants and the birds, and I used to love to go walks with her. I would go to Muriel for singing. And then I used to love to go over to the office and visit Sister Blanche. She was, I would say, like what a grandmother should be. She was, when she'd see you coming, she'd open her arms and grab you and hug you. And she had the softest chest, and she was the softest person, and you could snuggle her. There was something just loving about Sister Blanche.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you decided to leave the village?
Yes, I had written to cousins, and around when I was about 16 and got through school, I wasn't sure that I wanted to stay because all the other girls, except two, had left. And I thought, you know, it's going to be lonesome. I don't know as I want to be a Shaker sister. And then about 2 years later, an aunt and some cousins came up to visit me, and they told me what the life was like, and I could go to the movies, and the girls told me there's dances and lots of fun. And we had been taught to dance here. Sister Ada had taught me to waltz and to foxtrot and danced with each other. And in our plays, sometimes we had to use dancing, so that helped out there.
Was it sad having to say goodbye?
Yes, it was a very sad thing leaving Sister Marguerite. But she was very, very good. She had always called me Birdie. She never called me by my first name. And she said, Birdie, it's your time now to fly. And I can understand that you want to fly, and I know you have to because there's no life here for you. She said, if you stayed, we're all getting older, your life would be taking care of older sisters and sick people. And I don't think that's what a young girl should face. And she said, just don't forget that I'm always here for you. I always came back to see her on her birthday. It was near Mother's Day always, and so it was like a combination of Mother's Day and her birthday that I made of it when I came back. And I always brought her canned crab meat, and she thought it was too expensive. But to me, it was, no expense was too expensive to bring her something that she liked. So I always had 4 cans of crab meat no matter what else I brought her, but I had that for her, and I know she looked forward to it.
So, since it was a religious community at its core, how did they teach you Shaker religion?
I was never felt that the religion was the main part here. This is the one thing that I think back on now as an adult, that they didn't push Shaker religion on us. Whatever Shaker religion was to me was the golden rule. That's what they seem to stress. Do unto others as you'd have others do unto you. I am what I am today on account of these sisters. I don't know what I'd have ever been if I'd grown up and not come here. I just can't imagine the person I would have been. But this made me the person I am, if I am at all good.
Little children, says Holy Mother, soothe and comfort one another. Lo, 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 lo. Little children, says Holy Mother, soothe and comfort one another. Lo, 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 them around each other. Make them feel your love and blessing. Draw the cords of union stronger. Wind and bind them around each other. Make them feel your love and blessing.